Hello, this is Dead Hamster, and this is going to be Chapter 2 of the new tutorial series. This will be applying textures to the mesh that we created in Chapter 1, and doing the UV maps and the unwraps to get all the textures applied properly to the mesh. So, looking at our geometry from Chapter 1, we're going to have a few materials here. We have one for the road, we have grass on the side of the road, then we have the walls coming up on the edges, and then we have the screen, which will show the camera displayed like in Luigi Raceway and in Wario Stadium. The way the screen works is that it's 6 textures. You can see the panels here, the 2x3. Each one of these is a texture. It's a 32 by 64 pixel texture. And that brings up the limitations of the textures for Mario Kart 64. We do have 3 options as far as dimensions, the sizes. It can either be 32 by 32 pixels, 32 by 64, or 64 by 32 in width and height. Those are the 3 sizes available, and as far as transparency, we do have single bit transparency, which means that a pixel is either fully transparent or it is fully opaque. We do not have semi-transparent or translucent surfaces. There is some support on that for emulator, but on console it does not render properly, and so it's not recommended that you utilize that. So for our materials here, I actually do have a material set up already. You'll want to use standard materials. I'm not sure what this is for Blender, but use the equivalent for Blender. And regular PNG, BMP, JPEG files are all fine for the texture. For 3ds Max, it's called diffuse. I'm not sure exactly what it is for Blender, but just use, again, the standard texture types for whatever material material editor you're using. So I'm applying the material there, and I have to go through the IDs and select, apply those. So these will be 2. And again, each one of these has a unique texture, and that texture gets overwritten when the frame buffer emulation is enabled, and the texture gets overwritten with the data from the screen. If the frame buffer emulation is not enabled, instead it will just maintain the same texture. So trying to have something that that works in that place. Don't just, put a checkerboard and some obscure colors. That's going to look weird when it The UV maps for the screen, you have to use a flat face, so it has to be the entire texture drawn across the entire face. That way when the camera gets copied to it, it all displays properly. A brick now, and just do a simple UV map on these. And then the same for the road and grass. When applying the UV maps, it's important to keep your tiling relatively low. Tile can't go more than 16 times across a face. So if I was doing an example here, it's a weird angle, but anyway. Something like that would be the maximum amount that the textures could tile. Anything over 16 and you'll hit an overflow error and it won't be able to compile the textures for the game. We're not too concerned about looks. This is good enough for us. This handles everything that we need to. One other thing that we'll do some vert coloring while we're here. It does support vertex colors, so we're going to take these and we're going to darken them. I'll need to turn on in the editor the display. Then we'll take these here. Darken those a bit as well, so that one side of the course is shaded and the other one is in sunlight. With that, we've finished part 2, chapter 2 of the tutorial series. So we've successfully textured and shaded our level here. It's ready to be exported. There are some steps that need to be taken before the level can be exported. So we're going to have to go through and split up the geometry and assign some objects, and we'll go through that in the next chapter. That'll be chapter 3. Until next time, as always, you guys take care.